Khan, Shalom Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahuwah, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the Apostles of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and Shalom to the sincere Akim who spreads truth and sincerity. Shalom. In this video, I want to talk about Gideon, who's being referred to in the book of Judges, also by the name of Jerubbaal. A couple of weeks ago in the camp, the brother asked me to grab a couple of scriptures concerning Gideon. I dived into the book of Judges myself again, and want to bring out what the name Jerubbaal actually goes into. So I want to start off by going to this article, which is being called "Why is Gideon referred to as Jerubbaal?" A little bit of information is going to be brought out on this website in relation to the scriptures. I want to grab a little bit of other scriptures as well to back up my point and back up what the name Jerubbaal actually goes into. So it says, Gideon earned the title Jerubbaal or Jerubbaal after he destroyed his family's altar of Baal. Because Gideon broke down Baal's altar, they gave him the name Jerubbaal that day, saying, "Let Baal contend with him," which can be found in Judges chapter 6, verse 38. I have my Bible in front of me, and I can verify that that's indeed the case. The name Jerubbaal means Baal will contend, and it's a combination of two Hebrew words. The first is Rawchaa, which means literally to grapple, and holds the figurative meaning to wrangle or to hold a controversy. The second is the proper noun Baal, the name of the Phoenician god that Gideon picked a fight with. Because if we go to Judges chapter 6 verse 1, we understand that the children of Israel were delivered into the hands of the Midianites for 7 years. And the reason that happened is because we went whoring after these other gods and after the ways of those heathens. This is Judges chapter 6 and verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord Yahawah, and the Lord Yahawah delivered them into the hand of Midian 7 years. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel, and because of the Midianites the children of Israel made them dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds. And the Midianites are the Ishmaelites. This is Judges chapter 8 and starting at verse 22. Then the man of Israel said unto Gideon, "Rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian." And Gideon said unto them, "I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord Yahawah shall rule over you." And Gideon said unto them, "I will desire a request of you, that you would give me every man the earrings of his prey, because they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites." And the Ishmaelites in this day and age are the so-called Arabs, those people that live in the Middle East. And like I said, the Most High, He delivered us in the hands of the Midianites because we went whoring after these other gods and after the ways of these heathens. And this happened time and time again if you read the book of Judges. But after a while, if our nation would turn back to Yahawashi, the Most High would raise up a judge, someone that would deliver us out of the hands, of our oppressors, which in the book of Judges chapter 6, that's referring to Gideon, So it says, in Gideon's day, Israel was rife with idolatry, and the Lord Yahawah gave them into the hands of Midianites for 7 years. When Israel cried to the Most High for help, He sent a prophet who reminded the Israelites of the Most High's past deliverance and the Most High's commands against honoring false gods. Israel had disobeyed, and Baal and Asherah worship was rampant. It was time for Gideon to become Jerubbaal. You see, so it says, to create his Jerubbaal, the Most High sent the angel of the Lord to Gideon, the son of Joash the Ebenezerite. The angel sat under a tree watching Gideon press wheat in the winepress to keep it hidden from the Midianite raiders. The angel said to Gideon, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon's reply showed a weak faith. if the Lord Yahawah is with us, why has all this happened to us? Where are all his wonders that our ancestors told us about when they said, did not the Lord Yahawah bring us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord Yahawah has abandoned us and give us into the hand of Midian. The Lord then commissioned Gideon to save Israel out of Midian's hand. The angel confirmed the Most High's word with a miracle and gave Gideon promise, I will be with you. So let's read those verses as well. So Judges chapter 6 and starting at verse 7. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord Yahawah because of the Midianites, that the Lord Yahawah sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus said the Lord Yahawah, power of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt and brought you forth out of the house of bondage. And I haven't really gone into it in this lesson yet, but the children of Israel in this day and age are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but also those that were scattered among the heathen nations that might look like the heathen nations, but his lineage does go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, according to their father's seed line. You see, so those are the children of Israel. Not those people that are in the land of Israel right now, claiming themselves to be the chosen people of the Most High. Verse 9, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of all that oppressed you, and drave them out from before you, and gave you their land. And I said unto you, I am the Lord Yahawah your power. Fear not the gods of the Amorites, in whose land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. You see, so the Most High, he delivered us out of Egypt, and he commanded us not to go whoring after the ways of these other nations, which those other nations served other gods, and kept other customs, But it says, but ye have not obeyed my voice. So we didn't listen to what the Most High told us. And therefore the Most High sold us into the hands of our enemies. Verse 11, and there came an angel of the Lord Yahawah, and sat under an oak, which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the winepress, to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord Yahawah appeared unto him, and said unto him, the Lord Yahawah is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord Yahawah be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord Yahawah bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord Yahawah hath forsaken us, and delivered us in the hands of the Midianites. And the Lord looked upon him and said, Go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites, if not I send thee. You see, so Gideon, he asked the angel, like, hey, if these things happen unto us, why, sure the Most High, is not with us. But the reason he put us into captivity under the Midianites back then was because we went after the ways of the heathens, man. Verse 15, and he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least of my father's house. And the Lord Yahawah said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me. Depart not hence, I pray thee, until I come unto thee, and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until I come again. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid, and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour, and the flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the oak, and presented it. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so. Then the angel of the Lord Yahawah put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes. Then the angel of the Lord Yahawah departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord Yahawah, Gideon said, Alas, O Lord Yahawah, for because I have seen an angel of the Most High face to face. And the Lord said unto him, Peace be unto thee, fear not, thou shalt not die. You see, so, that's the scriptures that were mentioned, in the article. So it says, that night after his meeting with the Lord, Gideon was ready to transform into Jerubbaal, following the Most High's specific instructions. Gideon and 10 of his servants tore down Baal's altar on his family's property and cut down the Asherah pole next to it. Gideon then built a proper altar to the Most High, laid the wood of the Asherah image on top, and sacrificed a bull to the Lord Yahawah. But because he was afraid of his family and the townspeople, he did it at night. The next morning, the men of the town discovered that Gideon had torn down the altar to Baal, and they were incensed that someone had disrespected their God. The men came to Joash, Gideon's father, and said, "Bring out your son, he must die, because he has broken down Baal's altar and cut down the Asherah pole besides it." Defending his son, Joash replied to the mob, "Are you going to plead Baal's cause? Are you trying to save him? If Baal really is a god, he can defend himself when someone breaks down his altar." The logic was irrefutable. If Baal was really a god, then Baal could save himself. If Gideon should be punished, then let the god he destroyed punish him personally. After that, Gideon was called Jerubbaal, or let Baal contend with him, because Gideon had broken down the altar of Baal. You see? So, let me start at Judges chapter 6, verse 27. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants, and did as the Lord Yahawah had said unto him. And so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, that he did it by night. You see, so he was afraid to be seen by the people of the town and, and by his family. So if you do it at night, those people are asleep. Then you can just, do your thing. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it, and the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. So in the articles, it's being referred to as Asherah wood, but that goes into the grove. Verse 29. And they said one to another, "Who hath done this thing?" And when they inquired and asked, they said, "Gideon, the son of Joash, hath done this thing." Then the man of the city said unto Joash, "Bring out thy son, that he may die, because he hath cast down the altar of Baal, and because he hath cut down the grove that was by it." And Joash said unto all that stood against him, "Will ye plead for Baal?" Basically, will you, defend Baal? Were you the one that's going to defend Baal for what happened? Will ye save him? He that will plead for him, let him be put to death, whilst it is yet morning. If he be a god, let him plead for himself, because one hath cast down his altar. Therefore on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, "Let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar." You see, so the reason, Jerubbaal, or Gideon is being referred to as Jerubbaal, as mentioned in the article, Salakia, because he took it down, and those people were mad that, he took down, their so-called God's altar and grove. But if Baal was really a power, if he really was a god, then he could have done that himself. You see, but the scriptures clearly talk about, that the all the other gods of the nations are idols. So they hold no power. They don't have, any strength. These idols. This is Psalms chapter 90. Where is it? 96, verse 5. Verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord Yahawah made the heaven. You see, so all the other gods that all the other nations have, Baal, or Chemosh, or Dagon, they're nothing but idols. In this day and age, you have, Buddha, Allah, what else do you have? Is it Krishna? You have all these idols that all these other nations worship. You see, so here the Most High is saying in Psalms chapter 96 verse 5, all those gods of those nations are idols. They're basically statues that are being set up. But the Lord Yahawah made the heavens. You see, and the reason that, Baal was not able to plead against him is because, he's nothing but a dumb idol. And I want to go to the book of basically it's Baruch. It's chapter 6, which is the Epistle of Jeremiah, which in some cases it can be not included in the book of Baruch itself, but it's a separate chapter. This is the Epistle of Jeremiah chapter, let me say it, Baruch chapter 6 verse 1, or the Epistle of Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 1. A copy of an epistle which Jeremiah sent unto them which were to be led captives into Babylon by the king of the Babylonians, to certify them as it was commanded him of the Most High. So there was, prior to, basically there was during the time that we, to be specific, the kingdom of Judah was sent into Babylon, which was the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Verse 2, because of the sins which ye have committed before the Most High, ye shall be led away captives into Babylon by Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Babylonians. You see, and this also happened in the book of Judges. Every time that we, sinned, before the Most High put us under the oppression of those other nations. Verse 3, so when ye be come into Babylon, ye shall remain there many years, and for a long season, namely 7 generations, and after that I will bring you away peaceably from thence. Now shall ye see in Babylon gods of silver and gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, which cause the nations to fear. You see, so here, we would see statues, little puppets, carved out of wood, stone, made out of silver or gold, and these nations, these other people, that are not really affiliated with our nation because they're not of the nation of Israel, Think about the Cushites, the Hamites, the Canaanites, the Ishmaelites. They had idols and they feared those idols. So here's being said, now shall you see in Babylon gods of silver and of gold and of wood, borne upon shoulders, carried upon the shoulders of the people, which cause the nations to fear. So these nations are afraid of those statues. Beware therefore that ye in no wise be like to strangers, neither be afraid of them, when ye see the multitude before them and behind them worshipping them. So when we will be put there, and we will be amongst those nations, and them worshipping those idols, I say that we shouldn't be afraid of those idols. We shouldn't go after those idols just like them. But say ye in your hearts, O Lord Yahawah, we must worship thee. For mine angel is with you, and I myself caring for your souls. As for their tongue, it is polished by the workmen, and they themselves are gilded and laid over with silver, yet are they but false and cannot speak. You see, so people created those little statues, and then they're overlaid with silver and gold. They can't even speak themselves. And taking gold as it were for a virgin that loves to go gay, they make crowns for the heads of their gods. Sometimes also the priests convey from their gods gold and silver and bestow it upon themselves. So when money is being offered to those idols, the priests sometimes just steal that money and just do whatever they want to do with it. Yea, they will give thereof to the common harlots, and deck them as men with garments, being gods of silver and gods of gold and wood. Yet cannot these gods save themselves from rust and moth, though they be covered with purple raiment. You see, so when those idols are standing there, after a while they're going to be covered, with rust or moth or with with dust. So those people have to wipe them off to keep them clean. They wipe their faces because of the dust of the temple when there is much upon them. And he that cannot put to death one that offended him holdeth a scepter as though he were a judge of the country. And what did Gideon do with Baal? He destroyed that idol. He destroyed that grove. But Baal could not contend, with Gideon, who was being referred to as Jerubbaal. You see, it says, and he that cannot put to death one that offended him. Gideon offended that idol basically. But Baal was not able to do anything. He hath also in his right hand a dagger and an axe, but cannot deliver himself from war and thieves, whereby they are known not to be gods. Therefore fear them not. For like as a vessel that a man useth is nothing worth when it is broken, even so it is with their gods, when they be set up in the temple, their eyes be full of dust through the feet of them that come in. And as the doors are made sure on every side, upon them that offended the king as being committed to suffer death, even so the priests make fast their temples with doors, with locks and bars, lest their gods be spoiled with robbers. So what they do is, they set up those idols in those temples. They close the doors with locks, making sure that their gods are not being stolen. Verse 19, they light them candles, yea, more than for themselves, whereof they cannot see one. The idols they can't see. They are as one of the beams of the temple, yet they say their hearts are gnawed upon by the things creeping out of the earth. When they eat them and their clothes, they feel it not. So when they're standing there, all these little animals, the beasts, the creeping things, they eat of the clothing, they eat of the wood of the idols, But they don't notice those things happening because they're just dumb idols. Their faces are blacked through the smoke that comes out of the temple. Upon their bodies and heads sit bats, swallows, and birds, and the cats also. This can be seen in those Egyptian gods, these idols that they have. By this ye may know that they are no gods, therefore fear them not. Notwithstanding the gold that is about them to make them beautiful, except they wipe off the rust, they will not shine, for neither when they were molten did they feel it. See, so in order for that gold that was laid over those statues, to shine, they need to polish it and make it beautiful, So the workman basically has to do all those things. That idol cannot do anything. It's worthless. Verse 25, the thing wherein there is no breath are bought for a most high price. They are borne upon shoulders, having no feet, whereby they declare unto man that they be nothing worth. They also that serve them are ashamed, for if they fall to the ground at any time, they cannot rise up again of themselves. Neither if one set them up upright can they be moved of themselves. Neither if they be bowed down, they can make themselves straight. But they set gifts before them as unto dead men. You see, so when those dumb idols fall, people have to set them up, which, is something that we can read in the book of Samuel concerning the Philistines with their god Dagon. This is 1 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 1. And the Philistines took the ark of the Most High and brought it from Ebenezer unto Ashdod. So the ark of the Most High, the ark of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, it was basically taken away from our people. When the Philistines took the ark of the Most High, they brought it into the house of Dagon and set it by Dagon. So the Philistines brought it into their temple where their idol Dagon, was set up. And when they of Ashdod arose early in the morrow, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the earth before the ark of the Lord Yahuwah, and they took Dagon and set him in his place again. So those Philistines had to set back, their idol, their God, which is no God. Verse 4, and when they arose early on the morrow morning, behold, Dagon was fallen upon his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord Yahawah, and the head of Dagon and both the palms of his hands were cut off upon the threshold. Only the stumps of Dagon was left to him. You see, so then it happened again. The same thing happened. Dagon fell to the ground, but this time, he was broken, and certain pieces, were broken off, Verse 5, therefore neither the priest of Dagon nor any that come into Dagon's house tread on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod unto this day. So then it was like, nah, we're gonna leave, man. We're not gonna come in there, man. It's enough. Because of what happened. Their God fell down. They was like, no, we're not having this. Let me see. Did I just really drop it? Nope, did not. So yeah. So this is concerning those that basically create those idols. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 8. And employing his labors lewdly, he make the vain god of the same clay, even he which a little before was made of earth himself, and within a little while after returned to the same out of the which he was taken, when his life which was lent him shall be demanded. So those people that basically make and fashion these idols, they make it out of the same clay. We as people, we are created from the dust of the earth, to be more specific, from the ground, that was in the sea. That's what we were created from, but out of the same clay that the people are created, these idol makers, these craftsmen, they try to make basically an idol after for themselves, to create a god, But the one that is fashioning that god has more power than that, than the god that they're creating, But after a while, that artificer, that how you say it, that how you say it, that the idol maker, after a while he's gonna die himself, So to go back to where we started off with concerning Gideon, the reason Gideon was also being for Jerubbaal is because if Baal was really a god, he could have defended himself when Gideon took down his altar and his groves, So let me read the last paragraph. It says, Gideon not only contended with Baal, but also with the Midianites. The Most High was true to his promise, and Gideon won a decisive victory over the enemy. Later, Gideon is still being called Jerubbaal. Scripture uses the name Gideon and Jerubbaal interchangeably in those passages. Baal never did exact vengeance upon Jerubbaal. Rather, the Most High poured out his blessing on Gideon. You see, so Baal was not able to contend with Gideon for what Gideon did unto him. You see why? Because Baal was just a dumb, stupid idol, that these heathens worship. So with that, I hope that this lesson was edifying, and I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Double honors to the apostles of great Millstone, who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Akim, spreading truth and sincerity. Shalom.